Okay, so let's just settle into your meditation posture. So whatever is, doesn't have to be a kind of a rigid thing. It's whatever is going to work for you in terms of your own comfort and your ability to concentrate. So this is why we align ourselves, is just to keep everything flowing nicely, the oxygen, the blood, the energy. So you want to be sitting in a position that's conducive to being quiet and going inwards, but also a little bit alert. So it's not a time for sleep. So if you are sitting at your desk, your feet flat on the floor, knees are hips width apart, and right on top of your sits bones, if that's how you're sitting. And also, even if you are sitting in the regular cross-legged position, be really on top of your sits bones so you're not leaning back into your sacrum, which would round the spine. And shoulders aligned with the hips, and as much as you can, your ears aligned with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen. Take a nice deep breath. And just relax your body from the crown of the head all the way down to your feet. And just can go through those individual areas, the face, the back of the head, the neck, and then the main part of the body, and then the limbs. And even if we do it just very briefly, you'll notice a level of relaxation. So we're just kind of chilling here. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there and trying not to follow them with the mind. It just kind of draws us outwards again. So we need to be still so we can see what's going on inside. And then notice the thoughts as they're arising. Try not to follow the story or make a judgment about yourself. You can categorize your thoughts. You can allow them to float away. But just observe what's happening. Observe the thought. And then we can just imagine we're sitting on the bank of our river, watching that river flow on by. Check the quality of the water. And then just know that as long as you're sitting on the bank of the river, you're free from that river. And bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, our besties, children, spouses, dear neighbors. And then there's those people in our life who we find a bit more difficult. And then there's our strangers. And, life's impermanent. Things change, so do our relationships. But regardless of where we're at in our relationships, our relating to others, everybody is equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind, a Buddhahood. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life and by extension all sentient beings, and again continuing to think of the folks who have lost so much on Maui. Some not even knowing. In some cases, the remains will not be able to be identified at this point in time. So this is, if anyone's ever lost a pet, or if anyone's lost a loved one and not knowing where they are, it's unbearable. So I just think we'll motivate with these people in mind. And remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want it. So logically, it makes sense that we would remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify, and we're not wanting Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power to take it all away, to fix everything for us. We're wanting to use the methods of this Buddha. This is actually a healing Buddha, even though they call him purification, but we are, in a way, healing ourselves, healing our mind stream. So you can imagine this Buddha is above the crown of your head. So this is kind of a flat depiction of the Buddha Vajrasattva, but just imagine this light above the crown of your head. And you also can imagine that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So Vajrasattva is sitting there about a couple of inches above the crown of your head, and he's made of this, again, radiant, blissful white light. So he's translucent, he's radiating light, and made of light. He's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion, and he's got this beautiful face. It's radiant, beautiful, youthful. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals, and they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think of someone you've harmed recently, someone who's harmed you. And particularly for these people, we really want to try and develop in our heart a wish for them to be free from suffering, because the harm they've caused us is going to ripen for suffering, as suffering for them in the future. So here we come to the power of the remedy. And this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Savatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very happily, very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. So again, imagine you've walked into a room, you flick on that switch and that light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So just imagine the same here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and then all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment, your neediness, the anger and depression and anxiety and resentments and jealousy and bitterness are all instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mipiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprint of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, dira meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now imagine you are completely purified and there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. So think even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And next is the power of resolve, and the very crucial step in our purification process, because nothing's going to get done until we make a decision to do it. So we just decide we don't want to harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And we start by thinking about refraining from. And this kind of decision, this determination, this aspiration to not harm, it's like a beacon that guides our body, speech, and mind in new directions. It's so simple. So rejoice in your efforts, particularly those of you who are doing extra mantras on the weekend. I rejoice. Lamsa Rinpoche says we should do it every night. And we just do, whatever we can. So rejoice in your efforts, and then think about something you're wanting to work on and just see how you go with that between now and tomorrow. Keep it simple timeline, not too much pressure, just easy. And Vajrasattva, I think, is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into light, white light, and absorbs into you through your crown. And you can think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to us are not necessarily the way we think they are. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And if you have His Holiness as a teacher or as a lineage leader, or you have faith in His Holiness, just make a strong wish for him to live long and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, for Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then also for any of your own teachers, just wish for them to have a long life.